Hi everyone, here's a look at Sebring International Raceway in the Pro Mazda. This is default late afternoon, and my best lap was a 1:56.5. Now it's important to set the start of the lap up. I actually made an error on entry to this lap in which I pushed the car too wide. You really don't want to get too aggressive around here on the entry to starting qualifying lap. See, I carried too much apex speed and let the car run out wide, which means I kind of had to pick it up and bring it back around. That lost me momentum. I was probably a tenth down on the next lap by the time of even crossing the finish line and starting it, as I didn't carry that momentum down the main straight. So just be careful, don't overcook it on the start of your lap. Keep it much tighter than that. Now you want to enter from very wide, get over close to the outside wall. You maybe don't need to be quite that close, but yeah, still pretty much hugging the outside wall when you turn in. And you want to bring the car down to a late apex. Not an early apex, but bring it in close to the inside wall and down one gear as you're kind of transitioning through the corner. Then get hard back on the throttle and use all the track. You ideally want to be pushing it out onto that outside curb there. And in fast motion. Now I still had a bit of space on the inside there, so I could have gotten close to that inside apex. I don't tend in practice to really push that inside apex limit too much because you don't really want to get in bad habits for the race. I've got about a car width in between me, which is still ample to carry a lot of speed through there. Now coming into here, you're braking at the 2 marker. Now you can get down into 4th or 3rd. In this instance, I'm going to 4th. Now the advantage of 4th versus 3rd in here is if you go down to 3rd, you have to spend more time on the brakes and therefore more time downshifting. So you kind of lose a bit of momentum because it takes this car longer to get down the gears. It's not a particularly quick gearbox. In the Renault 2.0, you could get down 3 gears easily as it shifts down quickly, but this car's quite a bit slow on the downshifts. So I find it's better off to get it down to 4th, then get off the brake and let the car flow through the corner. So you're coming up down to 4th. Now I'm off the brake fairly early. You're still carrying quite a bit of speed through here, but you get off the brake and you just let the momentum push you through the corner. And then you're quickly getting back on the throttle to push it. Now you want to get that inside apex, then close to this outside one here. Then get back far to the right. Now you really need to make a wide arc as there's a lot of front grip through this corner for whatever reason. I assume it's the difference in surface texture, and it tends to make the front end of the car lose grip. So you want to take a really wide arc, get it into close to that inside apex, and push it hard out and get up on that outside curving, but not too much because you can catch an off track if you go out into the grass. The trick to this little segment is just momentum and more momentum. You really don't want to slow it too much under brakes. You're just slightly slowing on the brakes and getting off the brakes and then pushing it through the throttle. You really can carry a lot more speed through here than you think. And there's a lot of time to be gained by really pushing the limit. And you're getting on the throttle here earlier than you think. You really have to train yourself to get in the throttle early. As you're tempted to wait, but it costs you time down this straight. Now here, I'm braking after the 3 cones. You have to be quite aggressive on initial braking. What I like to do is sort of swing the car to the left a little bit to get a wider exit into that next right-hander, as that's a long straight there, and you gain time by pushing the car down it. So down 3 gears. Down 4 gears, sorry, into 2nd. Now you really need to make sure you get the front right wheel on this inside curb. If you miss it, you've gone too deep, and you're not likely to bring it back for the next apex. So use all the track there, and then push the car out. Another quite difficult complex. If you go too deep, you're going to be off the track on the outside and missing the inside apex and cost yourself a lot of time. Now you're wanting to brake quite late into here. This is again quite a complex corner. You're wanting to trail brake into the apex, or at least closer into the apex, and that'll push the car past that inside curb and out to the outside, and then you've got to get hard in the throttle and kind of keep it narrow. If you push it too far out wide, then you're going to have to bring it sort of back to the right and then get back to the left again. That costs you quite a bit of time, but you really do have to push this braking zone. As you, if you're not aggressive through here, then you can lose a lot. So down 3 gears, and then hooking the car into that inside apex and getting hard back straight in the throttle. That will push it out wide, but I still don't have to, I've left just that tiny bit of space in between me and the outside curb, so I don't have to come back to the right to go to the left. I can just carry on more or less straight through here and hug through those 2 left apexes. The trail braking will help get the front down and into the corner and give you front grip. And if I went too far wide, then I wouldn't be able to cut back as easily. Here's another hard one. You're braking after the 2-cone and carrying the momentum into, and you've got to get it really close up to that inside curve. But if you touch it, then you're losing a lot of time because it's quite a high corner. So you've got to get very close to it, but don't touch it, then get hard back on the throttle and push the car out. It's quite hard to be consistent through there, but you can do it with a bit of practice. Now just flat through this section. Now you're braking at the 2-cone there, and you want to turn in and get the car up on that right-hand curbing. So if you brake at the 2-cone, you're really on the limit of braking. Like, you can't afford to mess up, so you've got to build up to it. And you're wanting to, I'm trailing the brake a little bit just to get the car settled and turned in. Up over that right inside curb, and then the car will shoot out wide and get it left. Now you've got to take it quite off the track here and cut back and get it onto the inside curbing, and then harden the throttle to push it down. Again, quite a complex little setup there, and it all sort of carries over from the braking point into this first right-hander. If you mess that up and go too deep, then you're pretty much chasing the car through that whole sector. It seems actually every corner complex on this track is hard. That's why it's so challenging. I had to adjust the throttle and exit there a little bit too much. That cost me on the run, but unless you get that inside right curb quite hard, then you can't quite go that early on the throttle, and it's a tough corner because the track's so flat, it's not that visible when you're turning in from a distance. So yeah, maybe give a bit of time there, just being consistent. Now you want to go flat into this sort of right-hander here. I remember back when I was learning this track, people used to think these were braking markers, but in this car they're just flat, don't lift, turn in. You want to get the car on quite a wide arc, so you're braking in a straight line after you're turning in, not hugging it too much, because you want to put minimal steering angle. This car has a habit of four-wheel drifting through here, so if you put in too much angle, it doesn't understeer or oversteer. The car just starts sliding completely wide with all 4 wheels, so you want to avoid that. And then you're bringing it into a tight angle. You want to sort of aim at getting the front wheels towards that white line, and the car will often understeer past it a little bit, but it's at least got to be your target. And then get hard in the throttle and push it out and use all the track. And just to run to the line. So this last corner is in fast motion. So overall, this is a very hard track. There's not a single complex of corners I'd call simple on it. Everything, everything is quite risky to extract the limit from it, and if you make a slight mistake, it often hurts you for several corners. So the only way you can really get around that is to start slow and build up to it. Continue to push the braking limits and the throttle inputs. The car's quite low on downforce, so it's quite easy to get a bump and spin the rear up, but the time does come. And that was a pretty clean lap, apart from this area. I lost a tenth or two down this main straight at the start of the lap.